But we're going to begin this hour with a story that shows just how suddenly lives can change in this pandemic, something being experienced right now by Justin Trudeau and his wife, Sophie Grégoire Trudeau. Both of them are now in isolation, self-isolating at home after she tested positive for COVID-19. The Prime Minister will be making an address to Canadians. We don't have the timing of that just yet, but let's bring in Janice McGregor, who's in Ottawa, with the details we have so far. Janice, the confirmation coming late last night that she has indeed tested positive.
Yes, Heather, although I have to say there was a heavy dose of reassurance in the statement that we got from the Prime Minister's office last night. Sophie is feeling well, it said. Her symptoms are mild. And she added a few words of her own to the statement. She thanked Canadians for reaching out to her. She said that being in quarantine at home is nothing compared to what other people are going through. And she assured everyone that we're going to get through this together. I think, Heather, that you could see this as a sign of how the system in Ottawa is actually working. If you go through the details of this case, think about it. She had traveled, in this case, to London in the UK for some speaking engagements. It was about a week ago. That is consistent with what we know about kind of the length of time sometimes that symptoms take to appear with this particular virus. So when she felt unwell on Wednesday evening, she reached out, sought some medical advice. They decided that she should get tested. She did. And the Trudeau household then self-isolated. Those that she has been in contact with, they're reaching out to them to alert them that they should be monitoring their health. The Trudeau kids did not go to school yesterday. Of course, they go to school here in Ontario. They won't be going to school for a while now, for several weeks, as the Trudeaus join the ranks of parents who have to figure that out in the coming days. And the Prime Minister has reverted to contingency plans that allow him to continue to do his job from home, at least for the next couple of weeks. He said on Twitter that he's feeling fine. He's not showing any symptoms. And his office said, as you mentioned, Heather, that he is going to be addressing Canadians at some point today, although under the circumstances, of course, that is not something that he will be doing in person. I don't know if that would be then in writing some kind of a video message. I guess we stay tuned.
Stay tuned for all of it, because there are questions, Janice. We're talking about the challenge, really the cascade of challenges this coronavirus is posing for the federal government. When you think about it, there's the health response, there's the economic impact, adding in that oil price shock we've been talking about, and now the Prime Minister in self-isolation. What does this all mean for how his government will function?
Well, let's go through a few of the obvious things. His self-isolation, remember, it seems like so long ago, really was only yesterday. It did force the cancellation of the First Minister's meeting that was supposed to be held in Ottawa today. Now, instead, this afternoon, the Prime Minister will be chairing a call along with Canada's Chief Public Health Officer to speak to the premiers, part of coordinating the federal and provincial response to this coronavirus. But that 2-hour call won't, of course, cover the full issues, all the agenda items that the First Ministers were supposed to address. But these are not normal times here in Ottawa or anywhere else, frankly. When the House of Commons convenes this morning, it was already supposed to be on a break week next week, but we are watching to see if there is a decision to suspend sitting for a bit, maybe extend a break week, rearrange the parliamentary calendar somehow for the immediate future, amid concerns from parliamentarians that they would rather not be traveling at this time. They would rather be closer to their constituencies. Some have already chosen to self-isolate. You think about different members of Trudeau's cabinet, someone like Dominic LeBlanc, Jim Carr, former minister, people who recently were undergoing cancer treatments. We know that makes you vulnerable then to illnesses for some time. Someone like Mary Ng, the trade minister, normally someone who travels a lot in her job, meets a lot of international officials. She has asthma, though, so when she decided to self-isolate, she cited that as a reason for wanting to be more prudent in the immediate future. You have a lot of examples like this, as well as a number of cases that are now emerging where different parliamentarians and officials have been at events where someone else at that event has gone on to test positive and fall ill. And so they feel it prudent now to be doing some self-isolating and not doing what politicians normally do, which is a whole lot of this, Heather. So everyone taking steps, but trying to find ways to continue to keep things working, which I think will be the storyline from here for the immediate future.